Thank you, everyone. Welcome to meeting number 5. Um, Quietly, we are not disturbing the speakers. Does anyone have a success story? Success story is basically. Yes. Say again? Oh, fail story? You want to do a fail story or? Want to do fail story? No. No. Nobody wants to be a failure, I guess. Yeah. All right, so welcome back, Arzu. We missed you. It's good to see you back. There's few changes since we have some new members joined since while you were gone, and a lot of new members. So, all right. So with that, I'll hand it over to our president, Natalie.
Future Ad. Hi, welcome, Toastmasters and guests. If we have any guests today, if not yet, that's okay. Welcome all our members. I'm really glad and excited to see everyone and returning members. Today, after the club meeting, we have also the club social at Out of the Barrel. So we'll be glad to see everyone joining us there. And with that, I just wanted to say a few more things to remind people who complete their levels in Pathway, try to mark everything in the website and actually mark it done and completed, so the club receives all the points that it should receive for that. And with that, let's open our meeting and have our Toastmaster. Great.
Thank you, Madam President. Great to be up here. So I checked Trello this morning. I said, oh my gosh, I'll be Toastmaster tonight. So sometimes it creeps up on you, but it's always a really fun role. And it's a fun role to be up here and to keep things flowing. So knowing what happened in the past, I want to make sure that we're very efficient and direct with our flow of the evening so we don't go way over. So with that, we're going to have 3 speakers tonight. We have Vivian, Dan Wen, and Maria. Really excited about that. We're going to save a lot of time for a lecture that lead us through table topics. Our evaluators are Maria, Arzu, and Tom. So Maria, doing double take, right? You're going to be giving a speech and giving feedback. Thank you for doing that. And I think maybe in honor of Maria and her focus recently being more human and putting the technology aside, not that it's not good, but maybe we do a little AI cleansing for about a month or two, and we make up our own prompts, and we try not to just ask ChatGPT to give us like 10 random questions and see what happens when we start critically thinking again. What do you think? Starting next week. What raise our hands if that's okay, maybe try it out for a month or two. Is that all right? Actually, the majority say no. Okay, now I'm getting some buy-in. Good. Functionary roles, we have Marcos is our timer. He's one of our newest members, and he's had a tremendous amount of growth over the past couple of meetings, and can't wait to see what you do in the future. So come on up here and tell us about what the time role is. Yeah. Round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Yeah, today's my first time taking a role, believe it or not. So today I'm going to be your timer, and I'm just going to make sure that each one of the members stay within the time limit and also keep our meeting on schedule. So I'm going to be showing you these cards. The green card means that you have reached the minimum limit. The yellow card means that you're approaching the end, and then the red card means that you're at maximum time. So you need to wrap things up. Just as a reminder, speeches are between 5 to 7 minutes. Evaluations are between 2 to 3 minutes, and then table topics is between 1 to 2 minutes. Thank you so much.
Great job, Marcos. Great job. Okay, Natalie will be our awe counter tonight. Natalie, our president. Welcome.
So I think it's one of my first times I doing a counter. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, so I will be your out counter tonight, and the role is to look for everyone's filler words and count them so that we try not to use those words. Example for those words are well, so, like, and everything that you read to fill it with a sound or a word. I will report at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Appreciate it very much. All right, one of our newer members as well, Christina, welcome her up for our grammarian and word of the day.
Yeah. All right, this is my favorite role, honestly, because I get to learn the word of the day. So today the word is tantalize. What it means is to tantalize someone is to cause them to feel interest or excitement about something that is very attractive, appealing, etc. Yeah, observing the grammar usage and language and keep a record of our word.
Right when you think speakers, and especially, I mean, everyone has great ideas and thoughts, but Maria, the last couple of weeks, just bringing it with a lot of content that's has you really critically thinking, like tough questions, like questions that really get you going and go, wow, that could be a mini TED talk. That should be developed. That's how I felt last week about she had a shirt on that said, what is it? Humanize? Human. Right? One speech she talked about a beach interaction where someone commented on her dog and made assumptions there, asked her where she was from, made assumptions about that. And she's like, I'm just trying to be a human with my family and enjoy this time. Right. And she just said, why do we have to categorize everything? Why can't we just be? So very powerful. Okay, so we will get into our first speaker. Oh, actually, VJ will be our general evaluator. Please come on up. Welcome, VJ.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, everyone. I'm your general evaluator for today, and my job is to observe the meeting proceedings of the meeting and take notes of what we did good and any room for improvement. So wait for tantalizing summary at the end.
All right, great job. How are you using it? How are you using that? Everyone gets a point when they use that. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're having a more formal introduction of our speakers by the evaluators. So our first evaluator, Maria, will introduce Vivian. So round of applause for Maria, please.
So I will try to tantalize you all with my introduction to Vivian's speech. Vivian Mao, sorry. The title of the speech is Beyond Surface Communication and the pathway is Presentation Mastery, Level 2, Project 1. So congratulations to get into Level 2.
Yes, thank you.
And objective of the project, learning your communication style. And the small description about the speech is to recognize that our responses and communication styles are deeply ingrained patterns developed over time, and to explore how they can be more effectively understood and managed. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Let me start with the question. So how do you communicate when you are stressed? We understand the four communication styles, direct, analytic, supportive, but I feel like those are much more um,
times here. Second speaker. And we'll be speaking tonight, but Arzu introduced her. So welcome to Arzu. Tell us what you're doing.
In the last, I think, 3 or 4 months I haven't been here, I've gained more clients. So I'm working now with nonprofits, a startup, and then I think I told Chris I have a few dental practices that I'm working with. So I'm a little bit busy. I also have joined a company named as Fortune. So we have other executive coaches that we work with, a team of people. So it's not just me having to do everything, which is, I'm really grateful for that. I went to a wedding and I went to Miami for my first time, and my dog passed away. So there's been a lot going on. But yeah, let's introduce Dan. So thank you. The is title for speech is I thought I was supportive until the test. It surprised me. It is presentation mastery, level 2. The project is communication style test. The purpose is to know what my communication style is. And then just a little sense about her speech is try to slow down and to connect, then I can feel you.
Good evening, my dear fellow Toastmaster. Tonight, actually, I have the same topic as Vivian. She already did a good job, so I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, I cannot without my notes. Okay, I have a question first. Have you ever taken a communication style test and thought, wait, that's not me? That's exactly what happened last weekend. We came to meet, and we level 2 test, the communication style assessment. I think I'm a supportive or a gentle one, but the result is I'm a initiating. Really? I think not me, but it's me, because the result is. So at first, I feel a laugh and thought. Then I got curious. What followed with a week of the unexpected realization from memory in my hometown, Shenzhen. I'm from Shenzhen, and to a powerful interpersonal skills workshop at Stanford. I just went to there this weekend. So how coincidence. So as you know, I spent almost more than 25 years living, working, and raising kids in Shenzhen, the south of China, a city that moves fast, work hard, and rare waits for anyone. I wasn't born outgoing, but I grew up hearing, if you fell behind, you will get left behind or get hurt. You know, this is a kind of our culture. You have to, you must to. So I learned to speak up, act fast, and take initiative, not because I love it, but I had to survive in this style, a high speed culture. So that's how I become maybe initiating. That's what I think. Then last weekend, this weekend, right? Last weekend, I joined the course at Stanford called the Building Interpersonal Skills. This course was more than lectures. It was like a structure around the deep learning through practice. deep learning through practice. And I took away 3 things from this course. The first one, the core idea is there are 2 levels conversation, a blue rider and a red animal, red elephants. I actually learned from the two levels conversation system. The one is blue, use brain, language, thinking brain. Then it's the vertical and rational and analytical. The red is our animal feeling. Actually, it's a feeling, emotion, long verb, and the sensation. You know, like blue only like take a 20% or 10% or 30%. Then all the red, like an animal, like take a 7% to deliver your feeling, deliver the connection. You know, actually, I know this serial for a long time, many times, but when I have a conversation, I didn't notice what's going on, right? What's called the heart-to-heart to get some connection. But for this class, I think I got it. The second one is they spend almost, they're the only like a 3 days class, 4 days class. There's 2 days in the T group. They call the T group. It's kind of like a training group. The practice and observing, there's 12 people in the small group. Then every day just check in, then have any topic. They have a conflict, then you can see what's going on. This guy looks like a blue to blue. This guy looks like a use red with blue. It doesn't work. You know, it's super funny, especially there are 2 facility help us. And the guide said, okay, look your blue brain starting working, something like that. I feel so effective, you know. Then the third takeaway is the last night, the final night, they have a 3-person role play together in the one group. One is A, one is B, one C. C kind of like observing, then just the turn around. We did your own scenario. You have your own scenario to practice the role. So what's my practice? Then for me, I play the real life scenario, like with my Mr. Right. You know, me emotional, him is logical. So I saw my red system just shut down when he used the blue logical data and according something, blah, 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 I just shut down. No, it doesn't work. Never work like that. So I also then finally the class gave us the model called the AIR model. Is A is action. When you saw, or when I saw you use your blue brain, then I feel the eyes, the impact on me is I feel unseen, I feel frustrated, I feel shut down. Then the eyes, my request is, could you slow down? Give me some space. Can we do some heart-to-heart to have a communication? So yeah, that's what I learned from this class. So so this class for me, from this test, I'm initiating, so I want to transfer to be supportive. So maybe for me, I should say, I want to learn I see you, I feel you. Let's slow down and connect. That's the communicator I want to be. Thank you.
Wow. I love about that. It's like a transformation course. It's also, it seems like a relationship course, a Stanford level relationship course on communication.
From the business school,
Exactly.
very famous the tea group.
Yeah. And I love that you're always constantly learning and growing and you're curious, right? No matter what. Why not? And that's when you're a speaker, you're trying to connect with your audience. You're not having a conversation, you're talking to them, but you're trying to read and see if they're shut down or if they're in tune with what you're sharing. Interesting. Okay, so let's give a minute or two to Dan Wen for some feedback, please. Thirty more seconds. Okay. Wrapping up our comments. All right, next we have our speaker, Maria, and Tom will be evaluating Maria. Welcome Tom up, please, to introduce Maria.
Thank you, Chris. Well, Maria, you're back again giving another speech. Was it last week that you spoke or 2 weeks ago? Yeah, no, this is the second part of your speech, but last week's speech was memorable and it was a wonderful speech. Maria has promised to provide a tantalizing second speech tonight. Tantalizing, right? Okay, Maria is our speaker. Title of her speech is Whose Game Is It Anyway? Pathways is dynamic leadership. This is her second Pathways that she's on. She's already completed one. She's back to level 1. Project 4, part 2, applying feedback from part 1. So what she's going to do is take in the feedback she got last week and incorporate it into this new speech. This is a new speech, not the same speech. Yeah. One sentence description. Life is beautiful. All the rest is a trauma response. Ooh, now that's tantalizing. Okay, Maria.
In 1997, Italian film Life is Beautiful. A father and his son were taken to a Nazi concentration camp. But instead of allowing the horrors of war to destroy his son's soul, father created a game. The first who gets 1,000 points will win a real tank. The enemies, just a part of the game. The hunger is challenges to overcome. The hiding is following the rule. The prize is safety. So the little boy was smiling in the middle of hell. It wasn't just a story about imagination. It is the story about interpretation. It's a story about the difference between trauma and traumatic event and the important role of relationship, empathy, and love. So let's distinguish the two. What is trauma? What is traumatic event? Traumatic event is something external. It happens outside of us. It's something that happens in life. Trauma, though, is what and how our nervous system handles the event. In the words of Gabor Mate, trauma is not something that happens to you. It's rather what happens inside of you. In the concentration camp, the war, the absence of separation with a mother, those people who were dying in the gas chambers, that was the ugliness of the situation. It was external. And the father didn't neglect it or didn't avoid it. He understood it so deeply that he decided to transcend the present so he could save the future of his son from trauma. So in Life is Beautiful, the father chose the frame of a game to protect his son's emotional safety. It wasn't a delusion. It was an intentional shaping of something that happens inside of the little boy. The father could do nothing, and the boy would be fearful, feeling helpless. Or now we have the enthusiasm and self activation toward a goal in the boy. A father was teaching his son how to engage with life on your terms, how to protect the beauty of life, not by avoiding the ugliness or numbing yourself, but by staying present, alert, and creative in personal storytelling. So here we see how traumatic event could be interpreted differently and how trauma potentially could be avoided. The creative playfulness of the father, that's something I want to leave with you if in case you want to watch the film. But the last scene of the film was a clear answer to the question, was the game of the father effective? And the answer, the impact of the game on this boy. And I'm curious if you would consider that and a happy end. I know that everybody likes a personal connection of the story to the speaker's life. I don't have any games in my life, but I have a viewpoint I want to share with you today. Not as a truth, but just a lens that you can use, for example, while watching a film or in your life to bring even more meaningfulness to it. My view is influenced by Italian-American physicist Federico Fagin and his theory of conscious quantum field. I believe that each of us is a state of this quantum field, ever-changing process through which the field expresses itself, develops itself, expands itself. So our authentic way of being, our unique experiences do matter because they help the field to be aware of itself, be developing and expanding. And from this expansion point, I want to bring you back to the film and see how the actions, proactive approach to life of the father created a space for his son to express himself differently in the future, to experience life in totally different way that could be alternatively. And I have a question, of course, for you. Can you imagine how beautiful life can be if we see each other as connected states of the whole? If we have this curiosity to each other and help each other to create our own experiences, our common experiences, because we can choose the expression of our future like a father chose the future for his son out of love, because life is beautiful.
Perfect word of the day, tantalizing speech. It's exciting, it was interesting, thought provoking. I didn't think we could go above your last one, but this one, everyone was hanging on every word you were saying, trying to take it in and think about it and visualize what you were saying. But for you, it just flows. It's what you believe, it's what you know, it's what you discover. Thank you for sharing that viewpoint here, because I think it's not something we hear every single day. That type of speech, those types of thoughts. Thank you for sharing. And by doing what you're doing, you're bringing us more into your light to think more like you through that lens. And you offer it in a voluntary way. Okay, another minute and a half for feedback for Maria, please. Seconds. I think we'd all be in agreement that as we get to the contest time, if a speech like that, or thoughts like that would be appropriate for the contest type. I think you could, yeah, I think you could go to the, for sure, area, if not district and beyond. It would be so different from what they're used to hearing. It'll draw them in. So think about it. And it's your opportunity to share your story and that experience with many others. Okay, with that, let's get to table topics with Electra. Welcome, Electra, please.
Good evening, everyone. I was wondering, because this is part of my project this evening, is to conduct active listening. Was wondering if somebody would be willing to be my evaluator for this. Oh, okay. Thank you. So I wanted to start out by just kind of introducing the theme of these questions. I have 10 questions, and they more sort of relate to, so far, what my experience has been with Toastmasters. I feel as though it has been such an incredible experience. It's uplifted me. It's made me feel more confident. It's broadened my horizons. It's made me think of what's possible. So I really just appreciate the whole group, and I'm looking forward to a tantalizing drink after this. So who would like to be the first participant in table talks? Who wants to volunteer? Arzu, would you like to be volunteer? So pick a number from 1 to 3. When was the last time you gave yourself a pep talk, and did it help?
I think this one's a good question because it happened yesterday. I had to give myself a pep talk because I had just met with the team and I went to a dental office with one of my co-coaches. And the entire time I was in my head thinking about, did I answer the right question? Did I show up for the team the way that I needed to? Did I present that presentation the way that I was supposed to? And I was so in my head that as I was driving home, I was silent and disappointed. And I was looking at all the things that I could have done differently. And then I took a step back and I realized that I'm not the same person that I was a year ago. And that version of me would have handled it differently. But the version of me now is like more structured and organized. And I handled it in the best way that I could with where I'm at and how much that I've grown this year. So I started to pick out all the positives that I was doing. And I was driving home and I was like, wait, hold on. Okay, maybe you didn't answer that exact question, but you helped the doctor get through this and you supported them through that. And why don't you realize that you woke up early and you did this, this, and this, and you brought lunch in for the team. So I was like, okay, wait, you did more than you could have. And I had to like walk myself through that. And I got happier and excited as I was going to the gym. So yeah, that happened yesterday.
Well, I think I could take that, Arzu, for future situations and help maybe reframe as I'm thinking about something that happened yesterday or the day before. I think that was really good. Thank you. Who else would like to come up? Answer a question. I can try. Okay, thank you. Okay, so not 3, but any other.
Okay. Number 7.
Okay. Are you reading any books or articles right now that you'd like to share with the group, and why? If you want another one, I can give you one.
No, I think no, it's a good question. But can I share something that I read before?
Sure.
Not right now.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I think I shared this before, but I'm going to share again. I read this book called Principle by Ray Dalio. Some of them you may have read it before, but I think one of the things that really caught me or really resonated with me from this book is Ray Dalio's perspective on failure, which is everyone is meant to make mistakes. Everyone is not perfect, and you really have to celebrate failure and really learn from it, because that's the best thing that could happen to you. I'm definitely not the best person to handle failure, because growing up, I'm always the best, students in class. Always, promoting based on, my schedule. So every time I have a setback or failure, kind of similar to Azu, the example you had, like kind of accuse myself, like, how come that you didn't do this well? But reading that book really flipped my perspective about failure, which is, hey, you really have to take it as an opportunity to learn from it and really improve. And I think that really make a big difference on how I think about failure now. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys as well.
There's been several times in my life when I've gotten down from feeling like I've failed. So I'm sorry, the book again is Principle. Okay, I'm definitely going to read that. Thank you. Do we have time for like 1 or 2 more? Okay. Come on up. All right, so not 3 or 7, but any other. 8. What is your favorite podcast and why?
Podcast. Well, I have been listening podcast, but I don't know what is podcast. And I remember in a podcast said a story, don't wait. And it said, no perfect condition, no perfect time, just do it. You will be successful. So connecting my experience, attend the Toastmasters Club. At that time, I realized the Toastmasters Club is the development of leadership and speech skill, but I just learn English. So I didn't understand when I joined the club, I didn't understand the people who speech late. I just sitting, listening. But right now, I can understand about 50%, sometimes 8%. So my healing ability is make progress. So I think this story is still me. Where someone said, oh, you want to learn how to speak, develop speech, you need to learn good English. I think do it. Maybe sometime will successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Songhwa. I think just doing it is a great motto and constantly making progress. I thought this month I might just take a break from doing a project, but I thought, no, I'm just going to do it tonight. And it really does help to just jump into things and I don't know, make that progress. It's confidence building. So we have time for one more. Anyone else? Yeah, Tom. Oh, B. Thank you. Okay, so 3, 7, 8, 10. Okay, so this could be for somebody that you lead at work or your kids. What is a management hack that you incorporate into your daily routine that you can share with?
I don't really manage anybody except right now I'm working on managing myself. And I find that lately I don't have a lot of direction and purpose, and I'm this space where I'm looking and I don't look forward to the day. So how do I get through that? Well, I get up, get some coffee, think of what is the hardest thing I'm going to do today, tackle that first. And when I do it, there's a little energy that comes and I get excited, and somehow it starts snowballing into the next thing and the next thing. And before I know it, I've had a great day. And like Tuesdays are a great example. Every Tuesday, I'm surprised that I'm here. I dread I come up with excuses why not. But here I am, and I say I'm going to do it, and here I am. So
I think we've had some really good stories of confidence building this evening, and we can celebrate that after this. So thank you, everyone.
Heartfelt prompts for everybody. Really like that. Wasn't AI generated, right? It's okay. Not 100%. We're getting there. We're swinging the pendulum the other way. That was very good. But the responses were human generated, for sure. Okay, so let's get to the home stretch, our evaluations. The first is Maria evaluating Vivian. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian, for your great speech. Thank you, Songhwa, for the wisdom that we can follow, because Vivian started just do it, and we see the progress, right? You feel the progress. Is that right, Vivian? So I felt the speech was complicated. There's a lot of information, a lot of data to analyze for us, but you did it very organizedly. If there is a word, organizedly. So structure was good. So how we go from that? The first thing that I noticed, maybe I will start with like things to improve. The first thing that I noticed for communication styles, and then things like that. It instantly minimized the importance of those styles. I saw that you were under pressure, and it was beautiful experience because you were talking about that. You were embodying what you like. You were walking your talk basically, and you managed it beautifully. You it was a little bit visible, but you could made a speech. You could made it with a structure, an impact with pauses. I love the pauses. And I really like the deep breathing. Especially, I think it was before the styles that are kind of effective ones. I think maybe it was you or me, but I missed the second one in the beginning. I don't know. Yeah. But I loved how you masterfully handled the distraction from the technical part. You were like, yeah, let's do it. Like, this is the situation I can handle. I pause. It was lightly handled. Then I understand that it's not a perfect evaluation today because I'm kind of overwhelmed with the experience of today's meeting for myself, but it was kind of, it's part of the project. All right, one thing that I noticed that you were naming examples, naming plus examples of the styles, then the exploration, explanation of the styles, and then the childhood roots that where they come from. Maybe, just maybe, the structure could be a simpler one, like you could put them together, exploration and childhood roots, and I love how that you said about growth mindset and awareness about your style and how it can be relearned, the right ones. Well, notes. It was too visible. You couldn't do something about that, right? Time was like me, like right now. And I would say the gestures, the eye contact was were very meaningful and good, but you can claim more space just for the next time. That's it. Great speech, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, listening very well. Give some great feedback. Okay, next, Arzu for Dan Wynn's speech. Welcome, Arzu, please.
Thank you. Okay, Dan Wynn, I really liked your speech. I think it was amazing how you started off by asking us a question of, has anyone like taken a communication test, and then ask yourself, is that really me? And I had to take a moment. I'm like, I've done that before where I've taken a test and I was like, is this really my personality? Is this really how I am? But I love how you followed up by talking about how, I'm not sure if that was when you were back home or here, of the mindset of, if you don't keep up, like you're going to be behind. And I like how you use that. And you said, I'm going to constantly push myself to grow. And so taking that course at Stanford and really just putting yourself into uncomfortable situations that end up helping you grow as a person, I think is amazing. I love how you added that in. And this, I would say the advice that you kind of gave us through the example that you went through, gave us a little bit of a relationship advice, talking about the red and the blue, and how sometimes you're talking emotion while your partner is talking logic, and how you want him to understand your side, but you have to realize it comes down to how you change the way that you're bringing up what you're bringing up. And so that was great advice. And then the motivation of putting yourself in uncomfortable situations and just growing through them gave me a moment of like, I like that you're still doing that, and I like that others are doing that, and it motivates me to want to also do it as well. And then the reminder that, like I had said, the red and blue, and how you can be talking about emotions and the other person wants to communicate with you in logic, and how if you can change the way that you're bringing it up into how I feel and how I'm seeing it or what's coming up for me makes a huge difference. So I appreciate you for bringing that up. I think that was it. And then in terms of what I would say you could work on, you're doing really good. The only thing is I have a hard time with this is I have my phone sometimes too, or my notes. But whenever you did look up and you smiled and you made eye contact, I felt like we were all more engaged. And then the times that you were with your phone, it was like, okay, we're trying to get back to getting engaged with you. And then the other thing, eye contact, the phone. And then you also don't have to know every single word, because I love that you're using this, you're broadening your vocabulary by using bigger words, but there are times where it's like, it's okay if you don't get that exact word in, your story is still going to flow regardless. So yeah, that's it. Of course.
Absolutely. I remember a couple of years ago, Dan Wynn showed up and he's like, I just want to practice my English. And she just wanted to like run off the stage. Or she said, I think I was in San Francisco and I asked what I had to do to be a tour guide, right? So I could practice my English. And then we learned later she was the CEO of an architecture firm in China, and it was tremendously successful. So thank you for being here, and thank you for taking risks and continuing to share your story and expanding the ways that you share that with us. So let's have Tom give the evaluation for Maria. Tom, please.
Great. Okay, Maria. You know, I'm a big fan of yours, right? Yes, I hope you realize how much you've transformed yourself into a skilled speaker over the couple years you've been here. Yeah, and we've seen the progress. I have. So you're doing a fabulous job. Your speech was well organized and thought-provoking as usual. Trauma is not what happens to you, it's what happens inside you. Wow, that really stuck with me. What'd you do well? Well, you know, what you always do well, a steady, relaxed delivery. You have a way of speaking with authority, but you're not like loud with it. It's very soft. But when you speak about topics like this, we're listening closely because we know you have something to say and you have some authority behind you from your background and professionally. You're always smiling, which is great, and your hand gestures are always spot on. You communicate well with your hands. In terms of incorporating feedback from the last speech, there were three things you asked me to look at: louder projection, longer eye contact, and more movement. Louder projection. I thought your projection was fine tonight. It wasn't demonstrative or super loud. I was in the back. I heard it fine. I think the tone was right for the subject matter. It didn't really call for louder projection. So it had the right amount of projection. Longer eye contact. I thought your eye contact tonight was fine. You were looking around and it wasn't too much or too little. You weren't staring at people to make them feel uncomfortable and then moving on. You were looking around and you'd stop for a beat. And that's what we want. You just don't want you going back and forth like this. So that was fine. Or movement. So I told you hand gestures were fine. Plenty of movement. You're moving your head and your hands. But one thing is you stood in place the whole time. So maybe for more movement, I'm not saying dance around up here, not appropriate, but it wouldn't be bad if you would take a half step here and maybe a half step there if you're looking, you know, just a little more movement in that respect. Two quick points in terms of how it could have been a little bit better. You know, Life is Beautiful is such a wonderful movie. It would have been, I'm a big story guy. It would have been nice just to add a little anecdote from the movie, a poignant moment from the movie. Let me tell you about this one moment in the movie where the father pulled the son aside. I know you talked about the 1,000 points, but I would have been added a little more color to the speech by talking about one moment. And then lastly, the first half, was a little choppy in terms of your memorization, if that's the right word. You were trying to, I think, pull some of the thoughts out from the sky. Second half, smoothly. So sometimes when, and this goes for all of us, when we're rehearsing our speeches, we find that there's certain parts of our speeches where, for whatever reason, we struggle a little more in remembering it. So a lesson for all of us is double down while when you're rehearsing these on those areas where you feel like, oh, it's a little choppy. I need to smooth this out a little more. Otherwise, well done, top to bottom. A little side note and a benefit, and this is important for all of us. When you gave the evaluation, Vivian, you came up with a new word, organizedly. See, that's what we do that's what we do in Toastmasters. We invent new words, and we're going to submit that to Webster's. No, they take new words every year. Every year. Organizedly. I love it. So well done. We had a vote for the table.
We do. Everyone got some votes tonight, but the most votes went to Seonghwa. Great job, Seonghwa. Table topics. You know, we ask you any question and you come up with something very interesting. So thank you for sharing tonight. Just do it. Right? We're not talking about the Nike saying, right? We're talking about just do it. Be here. Just do it. Okay, let's talk about our timer. Let's have Marcos come up. It's his second time speaking this evening, and I can't wait till one day he's our Toastmaster. Welcome, Marcos.
Okay, so with regards to time, I think at the beginning, people went overtime, but I think that's my fault because I think I was not showing it enough. But I'm just gonna say the times for the sake of your knowledge, and perhaps you want to improve from there. Vivian, you were at 8 minutes and 27 seconds. Danwin, you were at 8. Okay, that's a good point. So maybe just 8 minutes. Danwin, 8 minutes and 21 seconds. Maria, 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Nice. For table topics, Arsu, she was on point, 58 seconds. Christine, 1 minute and 4 seconds. Seonghwa, 1 minute and 35 seconds. Beatrice was actually on point, 53 seconds. For the evaluators, Maria, 3 minutes and 53 seconds. Arsu, 2 minutes and 23 seconds. And Tom, 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Thank you.
Look at it. Look at Marcos. Great job. He didn't even break a sweat. I mean, he looks so relaxed up here. Great job, Marcos. Natalie, our odd counter. Where's Natalie? Madam President. She does all jobs. It doesn't matter. President is the odd counter tonight. Anyone can do it.
Sure. We have a winner for the word that is used the most by most of the people. The filler word is so. We all love so. And Vivian, Maria, Danwen, and Electra are in the top users of this word. Some users were noticed by Arzu, Chris, B, and even Tom. After so, second place word is yeah, and we have Maria, Electra, Arzu, and Christina use it less than 5 times, I would say. Some other third place, I would mention Tom with today, and Marcus less a few times with That's about it for our filler words. Good job, everyone.
Thank you, Natalie. Hey. And we all get better and better over time. And by paying attention to that, we pay attention to when other people are speaking in a meeting or being interviewed on TV, and we're going, yeah, they could clean that up a little bit. That's interesting. Okay, Christina, please come on up. Grammarian, and say,
Like I said, this is my favorite role because I learned so much from you guys. But first comes first. I don't know our club record for using the word of the day, but I feel like we have pretty good meeting today. We have Chris using it twice, Vijay using it once, Maria and Tom using it twice, and Electra using it as well. So we did a pretty good job. In terms of the language and the grammar issues, I was paying a lot of attention on the speeches and I'm literally running out of space to write down. So I'll go through each. So Vivian, really like the way that you're categorizing the different types of the communicators. So I call a lot of really great phrases like excessively apologetic, offense is the best defense, use facts as armor, use humor to distract, and speak with honesty. Feelings has space. Truth is being celebrated. Those are all great phrases to kind of describe each type. So the only thing I called is like, I would try to unify the name of the types. For example, you were using noun for some of them like blamer, but you're using adjective in the other one like congruent or distracting, right? So I will probably unify to make it, more consistent and for the audience to digest as well. So Dan, I think really love the simple, I kind of agree with Azu's, feedback as well, the simple usage or, the analogy of using color to indicate the emotional and logical brain, and your personal example about how you communicate with your Mr. Right and how does the red and color play into that communication. I think a couple of things I would note in terms of kind of future things to improve is you don't need to use the big word, but you want to make sure that your sentence is complete. Like, for example, you say, I think not me. I think you meant that's not me. That's not my type when you're talking about initiating. And also just a few things that similar to kind of Vivian, like noun versus adjective. You said how coincident. I think you want to mean how coincidental or what a coincidence. And also like tenses, past tenses, like you, how I become initiating or how I became initiating. So those are the smaller things that you probably want to work on. And the last bit, Maria, I didn't catch any grammar issue. I was just mostly fascinated by your natural talent with words because there are so many words I don't know about. I'm like, okay, great opportunity for me to learn. So I caught so much of it, like, trauma versus traumatic event and how you kind of define it. Emotional safety. This is not a delusion. Self-activation, engage with life on your term, not avoid the ugliness, stay numb, creative playfulness, conscious quantum field. I don't even understand what that means, but it just sounds really interesting. So yes. And also, love your creativity about creating the new word organizedly. So I'll start to use that more. That's it. And thanks everyone.
I've heard a lot of people disliking grammarian role, but you just crush it and you like embrace that moment. And you're not critiquing people, you're picking up on interesting things, you're sharing what we could do differently and better, and we're all learning at the same time. So thank you. And you get very much in the details with grammar. So thank you. All right, we will bring up VJ, our general evaluator. VJ.
Thank you, thank you, Chris. For a great meeting, very insightful speeches and table topics. Room was set up before everyone arrived. We started on time, and even though speeches were longer a little bit, we are ending on time. So great job, everyone. I think we had some technical difficulties. Probably we took care of it today, but if not, maybe we can look at that for next time. Thank you.
That was brief. I think it's a good thing. Okay, so it's been an honor being your Toastmaster tonight. It's always fun. I encourage all of you to go onto Trello and just sign up for random roles, things that you haven't done before, and just do it, as Sung Hwa would say, and lean into those moments, even if it's just being the Toastmaster. Please join us for Out of the Barrel. It's whether you're drinking something that's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, it's fun to spend another 30 minutes to 45, maybe an hour, just hanging, giving feedback to each other. It's going to be beautiful outside. It'll be sunny for another hour and a half, right? It should be warm. And the venue is actually at the intersection of North Santa Cruz Boulevard and Saratoga. So it's about a 5-minute drive away. It's exposed, it's out on the corner, so it's an outdoor patio. And we can kind of be out there and chit chat while, you know, all the excitement is happening in downtown Los Gatos. So if that didn't sell enough, I don't know what won't. But with that, I'm gonna hand it back over to Natalie to close us out. Close us out. Yep.
I love how sometimes our meetings create a theme out of the table topics and the speeches, and it just comes out. Like last meeting, somehow there was the AI as a theme, and today I love how the communication styles and how things that we learn in our childhood and things that we keep learning during our adulthood. Also, I felt like it is a theme. And what I have taken out of all this meeting is, first, even if you learned something in your childhood, it is not too late to relearn or improve or get some new perspective on that. Second, there's no perfect timing, just do it. We shouldn't wait for the perfect moment to arrive. And life is beautiful. Let's enjoy it.